All right, hello again, class. We are moving into section 3 of unit 2 called long-term debt. So we already mentioned some long-term debt. We just got done in the last video talking about short-term debt, which is mostly credit card debt. But now we're going to go into long-term debt. So long-term debt, again, is something that is paid back over a period of time that is greater than a year from when the loan was taking it out. So again, short-term debt was something we got paid off in a year or less. Long-term debt is something we paid off that takes more than 1 year to pay off. Now, we talked about credit cards being short-term debt, but hopefully by kind of talking about those last few examples and how if you don't pay it off month to month, it can quickly turn into long-term debt if you let it, costing you a lot more in interest fees. So while credit cards are typically short-term, they can turn into long-term. Let's look at some other long-term debt. So we've mentioned a few of these already. Mortgage on a house loan, a car loan, and student loans are all types of long-term debt. All right, so now let's look at the long-term debt fact or fiction questionnaire in your text. Question 1. The only way to get money for college is through student loans. Fiction. Students can save money, earn scholarships, join the military, they can work through college. I can't stress enough how many scholarships are out there for the taking. So many people just don't put in the time and effort to find them. They are out there, and yes, you do have to apply for them and maybe write a couple paragraph essay in order to show that you're qualified for it, but they're so worth it because you don't have to pay them back. The best type of loan to get gives you the longest amount of time to pay it back. Fiction. The longer it takes you to pay something back, the more it will cost you in the long run. And I'm going to show you a great example of that with a mortgage loan here in a little bit. Scholarships and grants can be thought of as free money for the student. Scholarships and grant, free money. Yes, scholarships and grants do not have to be paid back, whereas loans do. There are also some forgiveness programs, so if you join the Peace Corps or the National Guard, a lot of times they'll take over your school loan payments, and that way you don't have to pay for them. So lots of programs out there, no reason that you should not be going to college, okay? At least not being able to afford it is not a good reason. There's lots and lots of scholarships out there. It is best to have the highest interest rate possible on a loan. So hopefully by now you guys understand that the higher the interest rate when someone is lending you money, the more you're going to pay in the long run. So when we talk about high interest rates, and we're going to get more into like investments, and when we're putting our money into bank accounts, in that case you do want to look for a high interest rate because that's money that you're getting paid interest on. But when it comes to credit cards and loans that you're taking out, the lower the interest rate, the better. Student loans can also be thought of as free money. No, it's a loan. You have to pay it back, and with interest. Okay, I am in the process of paying back student loans right now, and it's going to take me a while, and I'll be open and share that more of that with you during Class Connects and throughout this course. So those were some fun facts about long-term debt. Let's talk about a little more specifically about each of these types of long-term debt. So federal student loans. All forms of financial aid can be on a need-based or non-need-based basis. So this is specifically over student loans. I know if you're young freshman, sophomore right now, you're probably tuning me out, but don't, because you're gonna be graduating before you know it. So applying for federal aid requires students to fill out the FAFSA. Juniors and seniors, you might have already heard of this term before. The FAFSA is a free application for federal student aid. It's something you fill out to kind of show and demonstrate how much aid or help with finances you're going to need as you apply for college. The most popular types of federal loans are the Perkins loan. I have a Perkins loan from college that I'm paying back, Stafford loan, a Parent Plus loan, and these kind of vary on how much length of time there is for each of these to be paid back. So like the Perkins, you have about 10 years to pay it back. The Parent Plus loan actually starts 60 days after the loan is issued. So investigate some of these loans and see what's going to work best for you. Other federal programs, scholarships and grants can be found everywhere. We'll look at some during a Class Connect when we get to this section. Scholarships, again, do not have to be paid back. This is money that these organizations are giving you to go get an education. There are scholarships for everyone. They range from, if you're left-handed, you could apply for this certain scholarship. If you're a good athlete, you could apply for this certain scholarship. So there are scholarships out there for everybody. Search for the scholarship and apply for all of them that you are eligible for. The more you apply for, the more money you're going to get and put towards college. There are also government grants out there and available. Campus jobs, you can get a job on campus, and that can either cut back on your tuition, or you can just put that money, if you get paid money, you can put it directly towards tuition. Volunteer work around the world, some volunteer jobs that will help give you scholarships or help pay towards your college education. Again, military service a lot of times covers your any student loans that you have. For more information on, we could talk all day about financial aid and student loans, but that's not what this class is all about. But if you would like to learn more, go to the U.S. Department of Education website. They have tons of information, tons of links to scholarships that you can apply for. And juniors and seniors, you better start applying right now. Okay, investing in your future. Again, we said how this is typically a good investment. When taking out student loans, it's important to consider your future earnings potential based on the career you chose and the path you take. So again, don't go off being an art major thinking you're going to make $100,000 right out of college. Okay, that doesn't happen. So would it be wise to go $100,000 into debt for a career that pays $20,000 a year? Probably not. Okay, and if that's the case, you're not going to afford to pay back your loan. So, and a lot of students get themselves into trouble with this. They get that really good, expensive education, and then they find a job that they love, but it's not something that pays the best. So that's just something, if there's a career out there and you're really passionate about it, but it's not the best paying, you're going to want to consider going a less expensive route for your education. Check your career's earning potential based on the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Okay, that's the best place to go to check to see how in demand your career is, what the earning potential for your career is, and so on. Mortgages. What type of loan is a mortgage? Mortgage is considered collateral debt. So, in other words, you pledge assets in order to receive the loan. So, if you default on your loan, or if you can no longer make payments, then you could lose your house. So with a mortgage, you're basically saying, okay, I need this loan to buy this house, and if I can't afford the payments of the loan, you can have the house back. That's a collateral debt type of loan, and that's what a mortgage is. And that's what happened a lot in the kind of the housing crisis of 2008. Okay, amortized payments. That is a goofy word. Good luck saying it yourself. This is just a fancy word for structured payments. So we talked about in the last video how revolving debt doesn't have fixed payments. It's just a percentage of what you owe. Loans like mortgages and car payments are more amortized. Oh my gosh, that's an awful word. And so that means there is a fixed number of payments and a fixed number of months that you'll be making those payments. Then interest is added based on the length of the loan. So your interest rate times your length of the loan then is also added to your principal, or the original amount that you borrowed. All making sense? Am I confusing anybody? Slow this down and repeat the video if you need to kind of re-explain things. Each payment eliminates a percentage of interest first and then is applied to the principal. So when you make a payment on a loan, the bank or the credit card company takes that money and pays off your interest first, and then what's ever left over, they apply to the principal amount of your loan. And that drives me nuts. Okay, that's something I'm really irritated about, but that's how it works. That's how they make money for lending you money. On the plus side, if there is one, just kidding. Mortgage interest is tax deductible. So that's something. My husband and I are homeowners for the first time this year, and all the interest that our mortgage loan accrues over the course of the year is tax deductible. So when we go to pay taxes, we can subtract that we've already paid all that amount in interest. So hopefully we'll get a little bit more back on our taxes. Car loans. This is another type of amortization loan. Ooh, I said it. Which is the structured payment. Most car loans last 3 to 6 years, and they usually kind of spell it out in months, so like 36 to 72 months. Don't get stuck paying for a car that you no longer have. For instance, if you take out a 6-year loan to pay for a car and you get a new car after 5 years, you still have to pay off your old car. So you're basically giving yourself 2 car payments. If you go out and buy a new car and you're still paying off your old car, that's 2 car payments. That's not a good boat to get yourself into. Usually they say if you can't pay your car off within 3 to 5 years, that's probably too expensive of a car for you to have. So keep that in mind. With any type of loan, it's always, always, always a good idea to make extra payments to get it paid off earlier so that you're not paying so much in interest. For example, mortgage payments. Oops. Okay, let me pull up this document. Okay, so this is an example of why you should pay more payments and get your loan paid off sooner. So this is an example of a mortgage. Okay, you could pay your monthly amount that you owe is $1,685, and that's going to take you 30 years to pay it, and you're going to not save any money on interest. If you make bi-weekly payments of $843, you will cut down the amount of years it takes you to pay it off by about 6 years. And by doing that, you will save almost $43,000 in interest by paying that off in 6 years earlier. If you make weekly payments of $421, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same numbers there. So that's if you would make your payment, break it up from monthly to bi-weekly or weekly. Here's what it would look like if you were just to add a little bit more to your payment every month. This is what it could look like. So if you choose to go with bi-weekly payments, meaning twice a month, every 2 weeks you're making a payment on your house. If you choose to go that route and you add $68 every payment, you would get your house paid off in 20 years, and you would save $75,000 by paying just $68 more a payment. That to me is like, oh my gosh, why wouldn't I do this? So that's just a great example of how much you could save depending on the amount of payments and putting a little extra each month towards your mortgage payment. So holla, that's a big deal. That's a lot of savings you're getting. Okay, let's finish this out. Let me swap. Okay, and hide that. Okay, so now let's make sure. Covered mortgages, car loans, making extra payments. I gave that mortgage payment example. Okay. So that is it for this section, which finishes you up for this unit. Yay! So now go take the long-term, actually, looking at you actually don't have the long-term debt quiz. Oh gosh, disregard this. There is no long-term debt quiz. Go straight into the Unit 2 exam and use the study guide. I have the study guide posted in our classroom under Doc Sharing. You can go to Unit Exam Study Guides, and here's the Unit 2 study guide that you can download and study for the exam that way. Alright, so study for that test, go ahead and take it, and that wraps up Unit 2.